Greetings, programs. Welcome to the grid. Today's game is the Knight. I am Sark. I've been procrastinating on the Knight. And once I realized why I was procrastinating, I started to laugh because I think it was just my perfectionism getting at me. I was imagining that I was going to be able to have a very easy to follow content guide along with the shape that I really want. And those two things are probably not compatible, at least at my skill level. And you know what? Illusion is a perfection. So I just need to get in here and model the darn thing. And if it produces a video that's not ideal, that's fine too. We'll just live with that. I'm not going to do a lot of explaining. I'm just going to go. And maybe this will be of value to you. I think your Knight's going to be different from mine if you choose to make one. You know, it's not going to be exactly the same. And that's probably best. So each person sort of has to figure out what to do with their model as they go. I'm thinking I'm going to come up here and come around. This is just me grabbing an edge and holding the shift key, right, and dragging with the move tool. And I think maybe I can connect these up, right? Just bridge them. And whatever I end up with, you know, I've already got a spot kind of carved out for the ear. I've kind of got a spot carved out for the eye. It'll be horse-shaped. It may not be exactly as desired, you know. Grab these two. Come down this way a ways, start to figure out what's going to go on there. So I think it's not all bad. I think I may even take these and then like pull them out and then even delete these. Just going to come back and do the eye, right? And start playing around with these like this. I know that this top section here probably is going to want to be there still, so do something like this, something like that, you know. And again, maybe I just get rid of this for now so that we can just work on the silhouette without getting fussy about topology. Right? Because topology is sort of an illusion sometimes too. And bridge those. Now I know I've got a mess here, but it's going to be fine from this angle, and it's going to kind of be a mess over here, right? Yeah. So I think as I go, I want to be a little cleaner. But yeah, I think that's going to be something like what my plan is. So. Can I undo? I'll just open the file. But that's looking okay. So that's what we're going to go with. Let's see. Select these and hide unselected. This plane back here that has nothing on it is actually doing something for me, and what it's doing is oh wait, is it? Is it really? No, I was just imagining things. Okay. I do want to freeze the plane behind the Knight, though. Freeze selection. There we go. And same thing I was doing before. This was a decent plan. But I do need to think about the shape as we go a little bit, because this is going to be sort of the center line from which the main comes, and that means it needs to be pretty much flat at the top. So it might be like here where we want to play with that idea a little bit. All right. I guess it can be starting to do that, and then get up here, it's basically time. It's time. So it wants to come this way. This wants to do that a little bit too. And it doesn't have to be perfectly flat, but it's easier that way. Okay. So that kind of looks okay. I think that's going to be all right. We can bridge these up now. And now our curve's sort of working for us. This line is a little funny. Okay. It's just sort of a sharp angle, and then what's this? That's that. Alright. Yeah, see, I've got a little crease here, and that's from just how incongruous those two edges are. So looking down in my polygon view, I guess I don't care that much. I guess the trick would be to take this vertex and just pull it out a little bit. Not a ton. Maybe pull this one in a little. And, you know, probably I'm going to end up changing those again later. But for now, it's just going to keep my keep the flow of my shape kind of conformal. Conformal is a word, right? I only ever hear it used in the context of conformal fuel tanks on fighter jets that are trying to be stealthier and carry more stuff, which is, of course, a contradictory process. But yeah, I think conformal is what I want. I want these lines to sort of follow the curve of the other lines, and more or less round out the shape of the head, even though the head's going to get all kinds of gaunt and creases and ears sticking out of it. For now, I just kind of want it rounded off. Alright, so we can figure out some of that later. And I don't know what I'm going to do with the top of the head there. So I'm going to leave those sections out, but I'm just going to work on these. So like I just did, except this time, yeah, I'm still gonna delete these two and give me some more freedom to figure out what I want to do with this. Whether this piece wants to sort of be tied off there to the other side, or if it wants to continue down. Probably it wants to continue down, but that means I've got to tweak that edge there. So, hey, this doesn't look so bad. It's starting to look right. Okay. You know, I've got a lot of these edges coming through here, so I should probably try and use them. There's going to be little subtle differences on this side too, so might as well start building those in. You know, I guess this is going to be... We could have this follow this line. I think that kind of makes sense to do. Should I try and... I should probably try and figure out the eye first. Okay, so come back this way. Start figuring that out in a minute. And probably this wants to be centered, so it can be right through. Just like our other plan is to bring this right through. And so this can come down this way. This might be this here. let's think about that. That means that this is coming down. See, I pulled off the wrong edges then, right? Yar. Yar, I did. Okay, so these are coming up. This is going to be in the center of the eye. And I'll worry about, well, do I worry about it now? So I guess the question is like, how funky would that angle be? It's almost going to be like where I pull this one straight down. But I don't want to pull it completely straight down. It's more like, yeah, yar. Okay. So this is going to connect up to this. This is somehow going to connect up to that. This is going to connect up to that. And that's the piece these are the pieces I pulled them from, so that makes more sense. I said I wasn't going to talk. I said I was just going to work, and then for some reason I feel a pressure to yammer while recording. That's probably a good instinct, right? I don't know. I'm not an entertainer. I'm a guy who makes some things, knows how to make some things. Show some other people how to make some things so they can go be productive. Okay. Right, so this, if I just hit Alt X, I know I've got like a blurry image and I'm zoomed in on it, and it's a little hard to see, but I'm just trying to follow this concavity. Follow the edge of it so that later we can sharpen that edge off and get the desired result. So that means that this edge and its brethren will probably get pulled in to help create that. But for now, I'm not going to work that detail in, right? You want to get the overall shape of your object done before you start working in all the tiny details. That's why I'm not sculpting the eye. As much fun as it would be, or the ear, that would be like probably rewarding to have done. But if I do it and the scale's wrong, or I end up having to bump some of these other edges around afterwards, that's going to be really bad news. That's going to mean that I'll have to redo that section, or try and adjust it after the fact, which often comes out crooked. So trying to avoid those details and just leaving in the edges so that later there's room to work them in. And that's sort of the thought process, for better or worse. Just kind of want to keep this flowing roughly nicely. Doesn't have to be like perfectly straight lines or anything like that, but you want to be able to see a plan for how everything's going to hook up. Or something approximating a plan. I mean, you can have a few areas where things don't line up also. That's fine. You just need to mentally note them and prepare yourself for how you're going to adjust them later. Nostril. So I've probably been working on this one angle for too long, and I'm not thinking about it in 3D too much. Right? Because I bet that this whole section gets narrower as it goes, especially towards the center. So what can we do about that? We can use some soft selection maybe. There it is. I'm just gonna like do this. I don't want to select that stuff down there though. Yikes. I could always detach this piece and then do that. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So element mode, grab this piece, detach it. There it is. Go back to my plan. My plan is a terrible plan. I'm going to have to, when I'm done soft selecting it, I'm going to have to move all these back onto this line. But that, I don't know, that could go worse. I've also apparently created a situation where I've got a seam in my symmetry, so I'll have to fix that in a minute too. Okay, so Alt-X was starting to get in my eyes. And yar. Yeah, I think that makes a little more sense. And then the whole thing will get scooted over here a little ways, but not the ones in the back, right? So these ones have to do this a little bit to keep up with the Joneses, as it were, their neighbors. I'll have to go back in and adjust this too, but I just want to make sure that on at least the back end, this sort of does what it needs to do a little bit. And then on this end, just come in a wee bit, right? That starts to feel more right. And then I should turn soft selection off because I'm just going to start doing some vertex editing. So here I am, way off the grid, way off my references, and sometimes you just have to eyeball some stuff into place. You don't really have a better way to do things. So I know that this row is coming way over, right? I know that it's got to come to roughly the center. I hope the center's less crooked than it appears from that view. Yeah. I know that this has to come over here, and it's got to be like lined up on that. Well, that means that this row has to compensate for it a little bit, right? Yeah. Now, oh, actually, hold on. Back once. To be fair to this row, it's not the last row, right? It's the second to last row. So maybe it's a little less ornery than that. But still. Okay. But now all this has to come back down, right? Because this is supposed to be this. I guess. If that's that, then this is that. Yeah. Alright, so I could be doing like conform to edge, or what's the word? I could be using an edge constraint or a face constraint or something, but I don't know. I've only got, excuse me, I've only got maybe 16 verts here or something, 20 tops. So, you know, I'm going to move them into place one at a time. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world if I do not. And then I'm just going to have to be sort of mindful of the flow, and that means that if there's a curve that's concave here, then I don't want to make this one convex, right? I also want to follow it, and subtly. I don't want to be exaggerating a curve all the way through or anything like that. I just want to be pacing it. This is supposed to be the one in the center of the eyeball, though. Right. Look at it from the side again, and again I'm getting too what's the word? Too flat. So that's more like. And then this is more like. So I gotta take these off, bring them in, and none of that changes, you know, my two-dimensional view. So why does this one feel so extreme? Oh, because it starts coming back up again. So that's actually, that's normal. That's okay. This one is kind of going to start heading back up that way. So I guess that's kind of alright. I guess that's somewhere around this line is where my concavity is going to start to end. And hey, that's kind of a horse snout shape. Alright. These all sort of line up, I guess. Gotta start to think about what's going on down here, right? So I want to work in larger chunks still. I'm tempted to get in here and tweak these sections. Guess that's what's going to happen. But I don't want to get bogged down in the details still. Got to try and keep my head on the big picture. The overall shape, that's the important thing right now. This is me reminding me. If it's useful to anybody else, great. What are we doing with this nostril? I don't know. Well, one thing we know is at some point this comes over here. At some juncture. It has to. And that makes this sort of the edge of the mouth. And then there's like might as well reattach our reattach our detached element. Just didn't want to accidentally soft selection things on the bottom. Just go to element mode, go to attach, and it rejoins the family. Turn our soft selection off. So I think maybe grab this edge and like do some things like this with it. Not sure what that means, so maybe yeah. Okay, time to be honest about this, right? So actually I'm going to throw a flow connect in here because that should that should keep us honest on the on this mess. Oh man, what a mess that is. Or what a mess that potentially is. It's so clean and empty right now, but it needs detail, and when we add detail, I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up. But fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. Alright, something like. So I think if we do like this, and then we do this, this is going to get weird, right? Actually, it's not as bad as I feared. So, oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's some weird stuff going on there. Okay, so of course the end of the jaw can't be that exaggerated. Man, I gotta remember to keep this, whatever it is in there, that concavity, that extreme chin. It's part of the horror of the piece, right? The battle terror. Let me, will let me. That's kind of funny. Of course, now it'll be hooked up okay. So because I went to the effort of getting some of those shapes right, not all of them, but some of them in terms of the overall flow, this whole mess should get easier. What I don't know about is whether I want to cut this line down through here or I'd be happier to bring it this way. I think I'd be happier to bring it this way. Because if I just do this, that's kind of fine. Just to indulge our I mean, it's a horse shape. Okay. Just keep reminding myself, as long as I end up with something roughly horse-shaped in the end, I should probably be pretty happy. At least for today. When we go to do details, then it's time to get fussy again, but that's alright. This is no bueno. Because it's got to come in, right? Alright, so stop worrying about that. We can come back to that. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a cut, and then I'm going to pull this side. I'm going to end up pulling this side in, right? And we'll get our shape. For here, let me start thinking about how these go together, I guess. It stands to reason to me that these sort of come up, right? And then they get target welded. Bing bong. Bing bong. Right. And ooh. This is rather extreme, right? What's the purpose of that being so extreme? It's really just a mirroring of the ear. It doesn't need to be that crazy. So something like that. Start hooking these up, right? Bridge. Right. I had a plan. It's coming to fruition. It's nice when the plan actually comes to fruition. Makes the James Bond villain in me feel good. You gotta work to keep that James Bond villain happy, you know? Okay. That's probably less of a problem than it looks like. There's probably a solution over there somehow. This I think I'm going to end up doing this too, so we'll tie that through, right through the ear. That makes sense. And as long as I can get this going through the eye, I'm going to be a happy camper. So here goes our line right through the eye. And bridge. And then of course I'll want to, what can I do? What can I do to connect those up? I guess instead of that, I can just do what I did before. Hold the shift key, weld these on. This one to here, this one to here. The one in the middle might be a little funny. No. Not too funny. Maybe it wants to come out a little bit. Probably not, actually. Let's see. Maybe. Maybe if this ends up being this edge, and these end up being these edges, right? See, I'm just kind of carving out these gaunt shapes so that later on we can cut them through. Let's see. This one up here. Told myself I wouldn't muck with this too much more, but really wants a little of that. Okay, come back to that. Bridge this. Cap this or bridge it. Same thing. there's going to be kind of a sharp spot here, but I think that might work for the edge of the eye anyway. We're probably going to end up taking these 4 verts, or not verts. Using the move tool, grabbing something in element mode. Okay. I'm probably going to grab these and inset them, right? And then get more of an eye shape out of this whole mess by taking every other one and doing something like this. I might take a purely round shape and cut it there. That probably makes more sense. So, what have we got now? Not horrible. Pretty good, actually. Even this bit with the mouth, which I thought was pretty exaggerated, is kind of working for the intended design. So, all that's happy. Better get in here and fix this before I allow it to sort of dominate my thought process. If you've got something really screwy going on with your shape, you need to address it. You can't leave it be for too long and go work on other sections. It's important to like get away from it a little bit if it's frustrating you, but you also have to come back to it. So here we are coming back to something that I have not yet got a plan for. Why couldn't this come straight through? Why shouldn't it, I guess, is really the question. So if I get rid of this and I say this really wants to be more like that, and then I get rid of this, I guess, and I say we can target well done. Bing bong. And I guess it just means cutting this in. Or does it? Could I do this? And then get my cut tool. Not sure how this is going to work out, so just experimenting a little bit. What if I put like a sharp edge here? What does that mean actually? Does it mean like I'm breaking my rule a little bit and adding some edges where there would be maybe more detail than I want at this stage. I've got more mesh here around this kind of flat, innocuous surface than I have around the eye, which should be much more detailed, or the nostril. But I can sort of see how it's going to come together in the end. I'm pretty close. And I just need a solution for this now. Any solution will do. It's better than no solution. We can move on to other parts of our shape. So, bridge this. Bridge this. It's not perfect, but let's check our mesh smooth. Alt X. You can just see that the density gets up here, maybe more than we'd prefer. All right, let's fix our seam. That's an easy fix, and I've left it go too long. So back down below our symmetry layer, turn off our mesh smooth, grab all the edges along the center line. These ones, I guess. And find out why they aren't where these ones are. So silly me not working on the grid. Can we scoot this to there? Okay. And then looking back down at those edges, are these ones on the true center now? Yeah, these ones are on Y0, right? So all I have to do is take this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, I guess. Oh, what had I done? Yeah, that's right. That's right, that's right. And put them on Y0. Good. So now I only have a gap there. And that's an easy gap to fill, right? We can just continue this plan. And I think we will continue it to give ourselves a little more mesh up top to work with, because relative to other areas of our model now, there's significantly less mesh density up here than there is, for instance, down here. Significantly less may be an exaggeration, but less. And we'll bring all this along. Is this the way to do it? No, this is a terrible way to do it. Well, there's probably worse ways. Okay. So I'm going to end up target welding all these, I guess. There's probably a smarter way to go about this. But you know what? Good enough. Here we can have this flare back out, right? So this can become a part of our plan for the nostril. As long as we're going to have a parallel edge up there that's basically doing nothing else. Okay. Except it's flatter than the rest, and so that'll help with the illusion of the curve. Alright, so just start target welding these. When I have the target weld tool out, you get this dotted line. You can ignore that. What you're looking for is this little symbol, this little crosshair, that lets you know that you are hovering over another vertex. So even if you can't see the other vertex because you forgot to turn, oh, this one wants to go this way. That's fine. I'm trying to make the new shapes conform to the old shapes, because Presumably I put some effort into the locations of the old shapes, or had reasons for why they're there. I may have forgotten those reasons, or they may not matter anymore, but okay. Deselected our target weld tool. So my new shape is the one that's behind this time. There it is. Oh, and that's the original. Okay. So, let's see if there's any holes in the head of our horse now. When the symmetry goes on. Nice line display goes on. Okay, a little sharp towards the end there, so we got to figure that out, but that's doing the job. I think we're going to get the ears and the eye done today, and that'll probably be a good day's work. So look at that. Confronting our irrational fears today. Highly irrational. This is coming along fine. I'm sure it's not entertaining viewing, but might be helpful to somebody. The goal was to have a night done. Now if we have a night done, then we can continue our game of one-upsmanship with our erstwhile competitor. And that's enough. Spite is a good reason. It's a good motivator. Okay. What did I say I was doing? Oh, I wanted to fix this. This got too sharp. So the truth is, we're not actually going to use that for the nostril, right? Because it's too much on the center line. Alt-X. Yeah. You know what? I don't get to do the ear until I finish. I definitely don't get to do the eye until I finish closing off the front of the horse's mouth. Right? That would be a cheat. Okay. I could probably pull this one in. Alright, so there's two ways I could do this. I can pull this back and then just start pulling out the new sections I want, right? So there's going to be like one that's dead center here, and that's going to be for the center of the nostril so that we can make a nice curve there. There's going to be one that comes here, and there's going to be like one that comes here. I'm going to ignore that nostril piece for now, and I'm just going to come straight here. But each of these has to come in, right? Accordingly. Or, you know, maybe this one even flares out a little bit. So, you know what, let's just do them like that. And then this one comes back in wildly, right? This one has to be like there. So that's hard to reconcile. It's probably too sharp. It's probably more like it. And I don't know what's going on up here. There's this. Often I will select things with my move tool, and I just have my left hand ready on the Control Z. And that the purpose of that is to just fix it when I notice I've selected something for the purpose of selecting it, and I accidentally jostle it a little. I see some of these numbers move. I'm like, oh, I jostled it. I hit Control Z. So that's a way of handling it. Other people like to just use the select tool, Q, and then there's no chance of bumping anything out of place. But that's, if you see me just like making twitchy little undo moves, that's why. Okay. Right. Right, that's about right. And then this whole mess is gonna come. Yeah. Sorta. Mayhaps. I mean, there's definitely gonna have to be an edge in there. That's kind of okay though. I think there's one that will fit. I don't even know why I'm planning on closing the mouth. I don't have to close the mouth. It doesn't have to match top to bottom. But I guess that's just the damage I've done in my idiosyncrasies here. Hmm. I'm just going to close this off with a triangle for now. I know it's not right, but it'll probably be a relatively easy fix later. Let's see how it looks. Not terrible, right? I will have to figure out the teeth, and I'm going to have to square this off. But I think I'm free to go work on the ear now. I think I have a horse-shaped mouth, more or less. So that's what I'll tell myself as I take this reward of working on the ear. Oh, the other thing I've got to figure out. Ho ho ho. I absolutely am going to have to figure out this spine, right? So at the top of the head, this is actually easier than where I started. Let's look. So the work I did first today is presently the most useful to me. Man, all the way down. All right. There's my undo again. Local normal. Maybe not awful. Maybe that works pretty good, actually. Maybe. This piece here is definitely a weak link. Alright. Now the ear runs right by that, so we've got to be really careful. You know what? I'm gonna need another edge here. This is where Flow Connect comes in really handy. Run a Flow Connect here. And that same edge is probably going to run straight through here. Ring. Flow Connect for sure. Man. That's okay. That doesn't mess up any of my evil schemes. So that actually solves our triangle over here a little bit, I think. I think it can. Not in the way we'd prefer, though, does it? We'd almost prefer go the other way. Guess it can do that. It's not great. Hmm. Yeah, that's not really a solution, but it's something. Come back and look at it. So, all that achieves for us really is now we've got a little more mesh up here to work with. And I did think we needed that, because we're going to have to slice out the area that the ear comes from, right? Right? Yeah. I don't know. Wait a minute. Let's go back. Let's go back to before we put that. Undo, 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 undo. No, I don't have enough undo levels saved. Why don't I have like 50 million undo levels set? Probably because I never bothered setting it up. Loop. Remove. Held the control key while I did that so it didn't leave any unwanted surprises behind. We can figure out this triangle and all kinds of other things later. That edge I just added just did this. So, yeah, there's no reason for an extra edge on the top. Not yet. Okay. So, I'm trying to figure out the area that I'm going to pull the ear from. And I'm thinking it's going to be like one polygon here and a second polygon there. And those are going to get extruded. And that means everything behind them is sort of going to be the back of the head. Right? So... here we go. Take this, kind of do that with it. I gotta look at these and make sure they're not like, yeah. Right, nobody wants that. I had a feeling that was happening because I wasn't constraining to any angles or anything. It's tough sometimes when you're working with a single blueprint, but on the other hand, the blueprints can be a little bit of a tyrant, and you don't want to be. You want to have some creative freedom outside them. So, unless you're doing like engineering or architectural work or something, and then please follow the blueprints. I would not like to die. I would not like to get into the elevator where somebody thought that they were going to creatively adjust the shape after it had been designed for functionality. But it's a chess piece. I'm pretty sure, in the end, when it's 3D printed or molded or sculpted or whatever, you will be able to print it out and pick it up, and it will look like a knight, and you'll be able to move it around on the chessboard, and nobody will suffer for the fact that it is not perfectly scaled to the original drawing, or in this case, a photograph of another real chess piece. So. Yeah. That seems reasonable to me. Bridge. Yeah, that's all fine. So, but I wanted this to come down, right? I wanted this to go in and this to come down, so I want these like here. I really do, because the ear doesn't come from just nowhere, and then I want them to come out a little bit. Yeah. Yep. And this is going to start to get awkward, right? Like, I don't want to bridge this. Mm. Mm. I could totally do this. I could see that happening. Yeah, let's do that. So grab this. Get our target weld tool. Grab this vertex. Click it on that vertex. Figure out this is going to be, this one is going to be the truth. So this is going to be the place where the ear comes from. And then, well, yeah, and then I can bridge these. And bridge this. And bridge this, right? That kind of works. And it's okay that this one sticks out funny because it's going to be that spot. Right? Yeah. Like this is a non-planar face, but that's okay because it's not our face. Because this is going to be our face. And then we can just like go make that planar. And that's no big deal. Make planar. Where are you, make planar? There it is. Boom. Right, now we're gonna start thinking about ear shapes. I don't know what I'm doing with ears. But these ones are like, they're pulled back, almost like an angry cat. I don't know, do horses pull their ears back? I guess they do. Probably doesn't mean the same thing as a cat that's about to bite you, right? Probably means like, I don't know. Somebody figure that out. Do horses pull their ears back at times, and if so, why? Or is it just like genetic and this horse has ears like that and that horse has ears like that? I don't know. Can they wiggle them around and stuff? It definitely has an aggressive look, right? Which I think is germane to the goal. Of creating a chess piece that is a bit warlike. Now, of course, they also have like insets, so I wonder how bad this would look if I just kind of try to cheat it. Ah! Whoa! How do I go back to no? How do I do it with the numbers? I grew. Yeah, much smaller numbers. There we go. What if I just like did this? How would that look? Might be almost what I want. Hold on. I know it doesn't look right now, but once we throw Turbo Smooth on it, or subdivision. Okay, so they're way too contoured. But if we make them a little fatter, right? Look at that. I could just grab this. It's independent of the rest of the mesh now, pretty much. I could just do something like that with it, right? And then, I don't know, we could probably like, can I ring this? I can ring this, right? And so I think I could just like... No, I said I wasn't going to start worrying about topology yet, but... Well, it's time for some details. And so I think... Yeah, I mean, it's a little funny on the back, so we're going to fix that. We ought to fix that. Okay, so let's undo those topology adjustments real quick. They were just there so I know what it looks like in the end. I want to flatten this out a little bit on the inside. And if I look at the original, it's deeper this way, so I can do this a little bit. Like, not a lot, but a little. Something like that, and that's actually kind of okay. I definitely want, and I don't know why I don't have it. Like, what did I do here that I don't have this hooking through? You know what? I'm going to tuck an N-gon back here. I don't think anybody's going to see it. And I think it's going to help me improve this a little bit. So there's an N-gon on the end, but if I make that planar, that should actually be okay. We're going to find out. We're going to find out how weird this gets with our subdivision. Where is it? No. Where's the make planar button? That's the one I want. I'm sure it is right before my eyes, and I'm just totally blind to it. Guess it doesn't help that I'm screen recording. It's reducing my frame rate. There we go. Make planar. Okay. And yeah, I just wanted that a little fatter back there, right? There. Yeah, that's kind of working to achieve the shape we want. So from here, there's probably a little sculpting to be done. Definitely, like, the whole ear needs to like rise higher. So I might just grow this selection. And like rotate it a little bit, move it up a little bit. Don't want to screw up the mesh around it too bad, but I think that helps. Yeah. Okay. And it's super, like, it's too sleek, right? But that was solved when we had our extra edges in there. So if if I go back to doing that. Oh, you know what else? Their ear ties in more with the top of the head, so I wonder if we do this a little bit. And this a little bit, because I don't want to mess up the curve there. And we bring this forward a touch, right? Like maybe more than a touch. Yeah. Alright, so I'm getting the X and Z. So I can mostly moving it on the X, right? So micromanage that turn a little bit. And then this wants to come forward to join its buddy. Do not touch the y-axis, because that's we need that. Back just a touch. Probably these want to come out a little bit this way. Ooh, not you. Okay, just some little adjustments to help maintain the overall shape. And let's see how that looks now. Yeah, better. This back here almost wants to come down a little bit, but like I want to be careful about extreme adjustments. I think the way I want to do that is to put a ring here, get my this way, slide it up a little bit, and then grab this and choose grow. Grab this. Yeah, just grab this, and so I can have this little too funny in it. Too funny looking. So when I did my connect, I probably just wanted to take some off that slide, probably like something like that. And then this won't seem so extreme. Just a little turn there to flop it down at the very end. And yep, that's better. So you could see that, you know, the middle process is the frustrating part. Starting is pretty easy. Tweaking your details until they look right is actually kind of fun, generally. But it's like that middle phase where you're just not sure, you can't quite see the shape yet, and what did I spend? I think maybe 2 weeks just pondering this and walking and thinking about it, and you know, I'm not a professional CG artist. I'm a guy who tinkers with 3ds Max, so if I had to do this on a deadline, if there was not going to be food on my table if it wasn't done on time, then it probably would have got done faster. But then a lot of the time there would probably be work being done. So that is just an encouragement to get past whatever's holding you up. If something's holding you up, take it by the horns and go for it, because time, like a little time thinking on something and, you know, taking a walk and thinking about the shape or whatever, that doesn't hurt. But if you find yourself going like more than 48 hours without tackling something, then you just need to go do it, because it doesn't get better from there, in my experience. What was I doing? I was supposed to come through here, ring this, and do a couple like this, right? Pinch them apart a little bit, but not too crazy. 40 seems about right. And see what that does for our final shape. Now that's again a topology adjustment, but one that I think we're going to leave in there because it's really nice and it's not really going to interfere with other sections of the model. So, all right, there's our ear. You know what? I'm gonna stop here. It's probably a super long video already, and we'll come back and do the eye and the nostril. Those are pretty easy. And then the contours, the gaunt hollows in its face and in its body. We'll have to figure out how to do those. But that's that. I mean, the base is going to be nothing. That's just a simple lathe. And we're going to have our most difficult chess piece done. The king and the queen are going to take no time at all in comparison. Probably one video each. And then we'll have a chess set. Maybe we'll print it out. Alright. Good luck. Have fun.